It's really good to reflect back on the journey that brought me to having my core desires and that journey of exploring what they were for me. It really started with just writing down so many different words I wanted to feel in my life. And from those, from words like I wanted to feel brave and courageous and adventurous, and healthy and beautiful, um, and really that desire to bring more of me, exactly who I am, into the world and say, this is me, I accept myself. If you do too, that's great, but if you accept me, that's all the better. But my happiness does not depend on what you think of me. Those kind of, for me, there were three main themes that were coming out there about being brave, and so I kind of, that was one of them, and that sort of healthy, nourishing health kind of thing. But more than that, like it turned into wanting to be glowing, kind of inside out. What was inside just kind of radiated out of me, because of the things I put in, the things I did for myself, and the time I gave myself to reflect. Um, and then kind of the other one about wanting to be true to myself. Those were kind of the three main things that I experienced. And so I asked myself quite a lot for a long time, what does that actually mean? Because being brave, like I can do big acts of courage, I can psych myself up and do them. It's just on a day-to-day level, I feel like there's like a little Amy inside me that's saying like, you want to say this, like you want to say that. But in reality, that voice wasn't leading anywhere. I kind of felt trapped inside my own mind. Makes me sound like I'm a little bit crazy, but um, yeah, the kind of it boiled down to kind of wanting to have that oomph and that gumption of going after things I wanted on a daily basis and not being afraid to put my view forward. And really, that led to me. The word that summed up for me is being gutsy. A woman who's powerful and just goes for things and isn't embarrassed by the thought that somebody might say no, and who doesn't worry about people knocking her back because she knows that she's absolutely bloody marvellous and she does it anyway. And that kind of really for me was that gutsiness. And that has kind of panned through to so many different things. From like recently I was on a plane and I really needed to go to the bathroom. Bit of an embarrassing story. And we just landed, so the bathrooms had been shut. And in my head, like, was this dialogue of, "Oh God, I really need to go to the bathroom. Oh, but they've locked the doors for the landing, so probably it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be able to go anyway. And what if I asked and then the flight attendant says no?" And round and round and round in my head, and I was like, "What? Be gutsy. You want to feel gutsy." And that starts with asking that flight attendant if you can use the bathroom. And so I went up to him and said, "I'm really sorry, can I use the bathroom?" And he was like, "Of course, go ahead." And so I got to pee and it was amazing. Yeah, it's just that sort of thing that like you don't realise exactly how much you're holding yourself back until you think to yourself, what do you want to feel like? And you give yourself permission to go after that little by little. Another example was the deadline for the local government challenge that I'm doing. The deadline for applications was coming up, and for a number of reasons, I'd asked my manager whether I could do it, and she was going to speak to the senior HR managers. And I think she might have been on annual leave, and the deadline was coming. It was the day before it was due in, and I'd kind of written something, but I just didn't know whether I should, apply, and then maybe she'd say no, or what I should do. And really, that feeling of being gutsy and having courage and going for it was a thing that I thought, I'm going to apply for this. Worst comes to worst, she'll say, sorry, it hasn't been approved, and I'll back out. But now I'm through to the finals of it, which I wouldn't have done if I hadn't said to myself, you want to feel gutsy, you have to go after the things that you want, that feeling that you want, go and do it, and kind of gave myself permission. So I think for me, the biggest thing with the work that Danielle LaPorte has done on the desire map, and these core desires, is that it's given myself permission to go after things that that before maybe I wasn't brave enough to do. Um, the biggest thing, the huge testament to that is this blog that I'm doing. My two other words are being authentic and expressive. And that's exactly what I was doing when I did the day for those people who'd taken part in the internal competition, that feedback and reflection day, of me feeling like this is something that's really close to my heart and something that I wouldn't usually share at work because it's tender and it's important and it is precious to me. And offering it out to people, I suppose, is like offering up something of yourself and giving people the ability to hurt you because you are showing something that is raw and real and truthful and expressing something from your heart. And the feedback day, it was really great to run it, and it felt really uncomfortable in the same way that asking that flight attendant if I could use the bathroom. You know, these feelings take us to places that we would never think that we would have done before, or didn't feel that it was possible, or would never have even dreamt of. And that is uncomfortable. But on reflecting back this morning about the day yesterday and saying to myself, how did that go? Was I happy with it? I kind of felt in my head, oh, it didn't go as well as it could have. You didn't express yourself well enough. You stumbled over some stuff. But I was able to say to myself, were you authentic? Yes, I was. No bars held. I kind of really shared something that was dear to me and put myself out there. And was I expressive? Yes, I was. I could be. And did that make me feel absolutely gutsy? Yeah, to go and do something at work that is close to your heart and to put yourself out there. How many people can say they do that in their lives? Probably everyone watching this is like hands up, yes, yeah, I did it. But for me beforehand, or before having done the core desires, I would never have thought that I would be able to bring my true, whole, imperfect, broken self, to the table and say, this is me, this is what's important to me, and I want to share that with you. And so actually, that feels pretty darn amazing. And I'm really, really grateful and thankful for that. Yes, that's just a little sort of summary of how I feel these core desires have really impacted on my life. And if you're reading this and you haven't looked at Danielle's work, then the link is on the blog. So click on that and have a little look. And down at the bottom is the PDF that I found online about core desires and how to get there. And just kind of that first step of figuring out what your core desires could be. It's absolutely amazing. I really love her work, and I would recommend it. Okay, that's all from me this evening. Take care, bye.